Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Jeff Moore, published author, professional trader for 17 years, and this is The Ripple Effect. All right, buddy. Hey, welcome back to the show. Today, I'm going to be watching a video from my boy, Kevin Cage. You guys know in the XRP community, Kevin Cage is a big XRP guy. Haven't watched this video, but before we dive into it, let's go ahead and take a look at XRP really quick. Let's see where it might be moving in the short term, right? So let's go take a look at the charts really quick. All right, so we're looking at XRP. Right now, XRP is coming in at 61 cents. It's up 1.06. Okay, so let's take a look in the short term. We're just going to be analyzing where it might be moving in the short term. Currently, we got a green candle. Okay, so we've got a resistance level at 63. So if XRP works its way up and it breaks the 63, it's got to get through 63. If it does, first price target is 66. If it breaks through 66 cents, we should be looking for XRP to get up to 68 cents. So that's where it should be going in the short term if we break the 63 level. All right, so let's look to the downside. We got to prepare either way. We got a support level at 59 cents. I talked about this yesterday. If XRP breaks the support level of 59 cents, 56 cents is its next stop. If it gets through the support level of 56 cents, XRP should work its way down to 55 cents. So those are the short-term price targets for XRP. Again, 63 is the resistance, 59 is the support. Right now we're channeling the middle. So hey, we'll see what happens. All right, let's go ahead and get into today's video.
What's up, guys? Kevin Cage here with another crypto update. Hope everybody had an awesome Thanksgiving for those that celebrate, and let's run through some recent news. First up, looking at the Bitcoin monthly price chart and comparing the previous two cycles, and just looking at its monthly RSI or momentum when it was at its peak. From its all-time high of the RSI on the monthly time frame, we can see it took over 1,000 days until Bitcoin broke into a new high. And we saw the same thing from Bitcoin's all-time high back in 2017 up until 2020. From the peak of its monthly RSI until breaking into a new all-time high price on the price chart, this took over 1,000 days. So instead of just looking at the all-time high for Bitcoin at 69K, if we simply look at the oscillators or the monthly RSI when it was at its peak here, here, and here.
All right, so that's interesting, right? Look at that, 2013, 2017. What I really like is you see that RSI peaked out, and then what happened? Did kind of that cup and handle type of formation, boom, broke through, peaked out. Same or very similar concept. And look right now, look at the similarities between 2021 to today in 2017, 2020. Okay, so very, very interesting. We know it's coming anyway, guys, but yeah, that's pretty neat.
Price in 2024. Using that same measurement, we're around 975 days, so almost up to 1,000. And if we took just as long as this cycle in 2013 to 2017, over 1,200 days, that would still take us around July or August of 2024. And whether you believe in the Bitcoin halving or any other narratives that we see every few years, one thing is absolutely certain. It is that the crypto asset class moves in cycles. We have the Bitcoin halving approximately every 4 years. We have the US election cycle every 4 years. We also have Raoul Pal pointing out the debt refinancing cycle is approximately every 4 years. And we have all of these events tied very closely together.
Yeah, it's all coming to a head, right? Election, the halving. I mean, 2024 is going to be a massive year. So, I mean, look, approximately every 4 years, the Bitcoin halving, we know that, the election cycle, the debt refi, all of this tied together. Look, history is not a guarantee, but, you know, we've been waiting for a long freaking time. I mean, it seems like forever. I mean, it's been 2021 was the last massive run, but God dang, I don't know about you guys, but it seems like forever, but I think 2024 is going to be the biggest year ever, at least for all of us, right? And we need Bitcoin to run, because if Bitcoin runs, XRP follows.
Videos covering crypto. I remember sentiment during March 2020, getting all types of texts and DMs saying, is crypto going to zero? Is this the end? I remember the sentiment shift in 2020 as some alts started to recover, some recovered, and then some even did another crash before that, before the next bull run. And the crazy thing is, this bear market, we have had that for many assets. And the fact that some assets are sitting at lows or even ranging sideways even longer, it scares people. Price action absolutely affects our mentality, but what's more powerful than price action is time. We've seen assets drop 90% and then later do a 10x return.
Time, right? We just got to be patient. That is the great equalizer. We just get, I know we're all patient, man. You listening to this, you're big into XRP like me. We are we're more patient than anybody. No doubt about that.
To get a 10x, a 50x, or 100x return, and the majority of those people have never had a 100x. I understand the roller coaster of emotions that comes during the hardest days in a bear market at lows where the markets are illiquid, there's no trading volume, markets are really dry, and then going into a bull run as we transition into that summer where volume returns, liquidity goes up, orders of magnitude higher, multiple X's. And there are times in this market, the risk is just too high, it's best to actually get out and have some cash on the sidelines. But the absolute best time to be in this market is before another bull run into all-time high prices. Lay assets and actually look at the performance of an altcoin versus Bitcoin specifically during a bull run. Observe the different scenarios we have seen every cycle regarding Bitcoin dominance, total 2, total 3 in the altcoin market versus Bitcoin pushing into an all-time high price. We have leaders and laggards, and as we've shown clear examples on this channel.
Okay, so he just said something, leaders and laggards. Okay, so I've been doing technical analysis for 16 years. Look at this chart. Now, I've never looked at rows before. I don't know what that is, but you see how it's basing down there at the bottom, right? It's basing. There's going to be a lot of charts right now that look like this. Now, I think he's looking at the weekly, right? The bigger time frame. Okay, it's basing and basing. Now, one of the ones that I've been watching is Chainlink. I don't even know if he likes Chainlink, but you can see Chainlink was basing like that as well, but it already broke out. I don't know if I have no idea if he looks at it, but go look at Chainlink because it already broke out. So that's a good sign. So what I want you to do is pull up a lot of these cryptos, look at the weekly, and you can see, right, when they're consolidated. And when one leads, usually Bitcoin, they're all going to follow. But let's take a look at what he says because I look at this as well. Not rows, but I look at this.
Channel before during previous bull runs. I see crypto Twitter and retail just panicking while assets are still clearly in accumulation. Do I want this RSI to pop on the weekly? Do I want to break out of accumulation and start this retracement potentially leading into an all-time high price? Absolutely. As long as I see alts like Rose, as long as I see total 2 in the altcoin market down here, we haven't broken through any levels. Yes, we're challenging. It's exciting. I see sentiment on crypto Twitter. Yes, some assets have done a 3, 5, 10x, and that's great to see. But people are acting like we missed the bull run and that the altcoin market is back up to over $1 trillion and we're still far from it. So no, you absolutely haven't missed anything yet. And by going to charts.cointrader.pro and overlaying different assets and just looking on the weekly time frame how they performed last cycle, and we can see at the end of 2020 as Bitcoin finally surpassed 20K into a new all-time high price after years of reaching that level since 2017. Once it broke into a new high, we had AVAX and many other assets begin their big climb. And we've seen this pattern play out more than once in 2017, 2020, and 2021. There are always leaders and laggards in this market. Even XRP was stuck in this zone from 2013 up until 2017 before exploding, doing well over a 600x return. So the common denominator every single alt season for the greatest returns that we see.
Chainlink, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. You see how it's basing down there at the bottom and then it broke out? That's what's happening. Just pay attention to that because that's very interesting. And I do this for Bitcoin all the time, you know, because Bitcoin usually is the one that leads, but there you go right there. Let's see what he says about it.
Across the board for the highest number of assets as when Bitcoin is pushing into an all-time high price. That has been the case for a variety of assets, including XRP, which has been around and live for over 10 years. The same thing for sentiment for Link or Chainlink. You can see it was trapped in accumulation, very boring, pump, dump, just trapped in this trading range. It was going sideways for 500 plus days. And then over the past month, we finally got that pop up to the 236 doing over a 2x. And after you see this pop, sentiment on Twitter improves, the price predictions get back higher, yeah, maybe a $100 Chainlink is more possible. And that's the same thing we see for every single asset. As it starts retracing, getting closer to all-time high prices, the price targets and price predictions will go higher. We have to remember 70 to 90% crashes are completely normal in crypto, as you can see right here, about an 88% crash. Here we also saw a 90% crash. Okay, next up, we had some big news with CZ, the CEO of Binance, stepping down as part of a $4 billion settlement with the US. So this can have very big ramifications in the crypto asset class, as Binance is one of the world's largest.
I'll give you my thoughts on this here in a little bit. I mean, look, it says today CZ stepped down. I mean, this was the other day, but I mean, look, here's what I think. That you know that the SEC, the government's in with the incumbents, right? The big banks. they hate the fact that we're ahead of them. They hate it so much. They've been going after CZ for a long time. Now, I don't believe CZ did anything criminal. I don't think it's like an FTX situation, but they've been targeting him. They want to bring everybody down so they can raise up the incumbents. And that's personally what I think that happened. I mean, obviously there's more to it. He did admit guilt, but wasn't fraud. And they've had it out for Binance since the beginning. That's their goal. Take everybody out so they're the heroes. The good news is we're in before all of them.
Largest crypto exchanges. I encourage you guys to watch some of the interviews and just a quick summary of this whole scenario with CZ. You're going to see a few perspectives where they paint him as a very bad guy and a criminal, and then other perspectives where he just didn't really want to comply with AML compliance for the US. And I think there's a lot more speculation now looking at Coin or Coinbase's stock and shares going up in value. So we'll have to see how all of this Binance news is going to pan out. If we're looking at the global crypto asset class sitting just above 1 trillion today, that's a huge deal.
$10 trillion. You know, the stock market, you got the bond market, you got the foreign exchange market. They're all, I want to say they're like $100+ trillion. I think so. And the crypto market is a little bit over 1 trillion. So imagine when the crypto market catches up. It's going to catch up. In my opinion, it's going to be the biggest market in the world because you're going to start tokenizing everything. I can see this market getting to 20, 40, 50, 100 trillion. Can you imagine how it's going to be for us in the space now when that happens?
Switzerland has expanded its partnership with Medico as it seeks to accelerate its digital asset offerings to institutional clients. BBVA in Switzerland was the first Tier 1 bank in the Eurozone to provide custody and trading services for cryptocurrencies. I know talking about the future of enterprise adoption and tokenization and real-world assets tied to DLT seems like an absolute joke during a multi-year bear market, but this is the absolute future. We're going to see more and more banks making this transition. And the same thing for legislation in all of these countries. And check this out regarding an interview that Brad Kimes had with the CEO of Uphold.
I like Uphold, right? Uphold, when all this crap was going on with the SEC, I believe Uphold, I don't know if they were the only ones, but they were one of the few in the United States that you could buy XRP from. And so the partnership with Uphold, offering the ODL, you know, on-demand liquidity, this is a really big deal, but I like Uphold, and the CEO, he did a good thing.
Most liquid corridors in the world as a start between the United States, Europe, and UK. Good with confirmation they will target the US market as expected. And Uphold the exchange will do the XRP to fiat conversion. So we have shared by Brad Kimes the interview with the CEO of Uphold, Simon. It's about 5 minutes long, but thankfully we have XRP drops that made a summary of this, and I just watched this 5-minute clip. So basically, in terms of liquidity, the CEO of Uphold thinks they're going to be starting at $5 billion a year. And corridors listed include the UK to Europe, we have UK to the US, Europe to US, UK to Brazil 2024. Uphold the exchange will become a node in the network of liquidity providers. We have regarding Ripple payments, companies open an account on Uphold with pre-funded XRP by Ripple. And then Uphold converts the crypto into fiat and pays out to the banks, and this is a regulated activity. And also looking at Bitcoin's price performance 365 days after the halving. So the general consensus is that after the Bitcoin halving, Bitcoin usually goes on that parabolic run, and as soon as we surpass that 50% or 618 retracement, we have always gone to an all-time high price. The question I ask myself is it possible for Bitcoin to go into an all-time high price before the halving in April?
But the way it's worked in the past is, you know, it's kind of led up into the halving, you had the halving, and then after the halving, bam, you had that explosion. I know that's what happened the last 2 times, but there's something different about this year, I think. I think we could get a nice run up into the halving, and then after the halving, even more of an explosion. So this is a very interesting chart, the 365 days after the halving.
But I absolutely believe that's possible. And looking at the Bitcoin price chart on the weekly time frame, as of now, it looks like the Bitcoin halving will occur in April of 2024. Some websites show April 13th, others show April 22nd. This purple circle is the Bitcoin halving date. The last 2 cycles actually pumped up to the 50% or 618 before the halving date. So if we simply follow history, that would mean a $42,000 to $48,000 Bitcoin before the halving, which I don't think that's crazy. Another 13% to even as high as a 28% move. Totally possible. I mean, just remember the weekly RSI is at a high and it's in overbought, so we can get some crazy moves. And looking at the last 3 Bitcoin halvings in 2012, going through the stage shortly after an all-time high price. 2016, pumping, little crash going into halving, later on going into all-time high prices. And even our last Bitcoin halving in May of 2020, shortly after going to all-time high prices. So I totally understand anybody that thinks we have to go, well after the Bitcoin halving in 2024 and then have a shot at all-time highs at the end of 2024 or even in 2025. So just remember that absolutely anything is possible in crypto. It takes one black swan to crash this market entirely, continue accumulation, and go sideways even longer. So we'll keep this video short and sweet, guys. Thanks so much for watching. And just remember that we are pending the date of approval for the Bitcoin spot ETFs and potentially Ethereum in January. If you don't believe
the spot ETFs, that's a huge deal, guys. I remember back, I wasn't live, but I've been in the financial industry for 25 years, and gold. That's what happened to gold. Gold was kind of just trending down, down, down. The gold ETF GLD came out, and bam, it shot through the moon. And I believe that's going to happen here with Bitcoin. This is a big deal. It gets the average person into the space. And again, I know I've been in the financial world. I've been a financial advisor, all my securities license. So it's a big, big deal.
Bitcoin goes into a new all-time high price or has no chance to break into at least one more all-time high price, I wouldn't even be in crypto. Studying history, studying the previous cycles, we are in a nascent and largely unregulated asset class. That means that utility is not driving the majority of price action, no matter how good your asset is. So that means for the majority of assets that we are waiting for Bitcoin to actually drive price action, and that happens when Bitcoin is pushing into an all-time high price. And then the idea is, as this asset class matures, as infrastructure improves, legislation and legal frameworks in a variety of countries, we can actually begin to see adoption at scale. And blockchain adoption at scale means the widespread integration and the use of blockchain and DLT across large organizations in various business operations, supply chain, transactions, data management, etc. Not just used in isolated cases or the occasional pilot project, but fully integrated and operationalized across the industry. And that's what will take the crypto asset class from $1 trillion market cap back to an all-time high at $3 trillion to potentially $5 trillion, $8 trillion, $10 trillion, and beyond. Global equities in the global stock market is over 100 trillion. We're at just around 1 trillion today.
That's what I was talking
global
about.
Bonds, 100 trillion.
100
Derivatives,
trillion.
hundreds of trillions. Real estate, over 100 trillion. Commodities, a couple dozen trillion. This asset class with the tokenization of everything is going to be connecting some of these public protocols to these other asset classes that are measured in the dozens, if not hundreds of trillions of dollars. So whether or not we agree on time horizons or potential of different assets, one thing is certain is that this asset class is going to change the world. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.
All right, buddy. Hey, thanks for watching this show. Again, we know XRP is going to change the world. We got a lot of big things coming. 2024, I'm expecting it to be the biggest year ever, having the presidential election, the ETFs, regulations, all this stuff, the Ripple lawsuit over. Coinbase is going to smack them down as well. Hopefully Kraken does also. But hey, thanks for joining the show. Do me a favor. Number one, if you guys are into trading, some of you might be into trading. I've been trading for 16 years. So make sure you check out some of the playlists I have on this channel or join me live. I do day trading on Tuesdays and Thursdays right here on this channel. And if you're into option trading at all, then check out some of my playlists on option trading. All right, guys, if you found value, do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up button, all right? It really does help support the show. It helps YouTube see that it was informational and helpful to you. Spreads it out to everybody else. Really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hey, subscribe to the channel. I go live. I trade. I post videos every day on this channel. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys in the next episode of The Ripple Effect. And remember, if you want to have more, you have to think more. Bye-bye.